Hello students, this is in continuation to our previous sessions where we have studied how to calculate the cost of debt, the cost of preference shares. In this video, we are going to learn how to calculate the cost of equity, which is the most important long term source of capital for the firm. Equity share capital, if you see, is one of the most important sources of financing a project or a business. The features of equity share capitals are it is ownership capital. That means when an investor invests in equity shares or when he give his capital to the firms, he become the owner of that particular firm. By virtue of this ownership, he is entitled for the residual income. That means whatever is left after paying off all the expenses, all the different type of direct and indirect cost and expenses, whatever is left for that particular year from the operations, from running that core business, this is for the equity shareholders. So he share the residual income of the company in the form of dividend, most important, or maybe in the form of capital appreciation, because the wealth of shareholders are reflected in market price of the shares. So if the company is generating profit, if it is earning on its equity, then definitely that return will increase the market price of the share. So this is also a form of return to the equity shareholders, where he can see the capital appreciation in the market price of his shares. Next is most important thing, equity shareholders are the ultimate owner and stakeholder of the company. So all the strategic decision making are done with the consent of equity shareholders. So according to company's law, every annual general meeting should have this agenda where the equity shareholders will vote for the strategic decision making for the next year and for the future of the company. So these carry a voting right. All equity shares carry one voting right. Voting right means that equity shareholder has a say in strategic decision making for the firm. Then this equity share capital is perpetual. By perpetuity we mean that they are not supposed to be redeemed within the due course of the business. Yes, maybe in some special circumstances company can buy back its own shares, or company can go for redeeming or decreasing the equity share capital, but normally they are perpetual. They are not going to be redeemed after certain period. With these features, let us first see that what are the different techniques of calculating the cost of equity shares. Cost of equity shares, what do we mean by cost of equity shares? It means the cost of this capital, procurement of this capital in the form of equity from investor to the firm. What will be the cost to the firm? Cost to the firm is definitely the minimum expectation, the minimum requirement which these equity shareholder will have from the business, and this expectation and requirement will change according to the riskiness in the business, because equity shareholders are taking risk in the business, because they are entitled for residual profit. Nothing is guaranteed, nothing is fixed for them. So if they are taking risk, they should be compensated with certain return, and that expectation of that return according to that risk becomes the cost of equity to the firm. So from all its project, from all its investment, the firm is expected to at least generate that return equal to the cost of equity to the shareholders, so that they can sustain invested, they can remain invested in the business. Otherwise they will be losing, their opportunity cost will not be recovered. So how to calculate this cost of equity? Now this is a very subjective type of thing, but we can quantify different type of these variables like riskiness and the expected return, the scenario building. So these all will take into we will take into consideration to frame the expected minimum return that is expected by the equity shareholders, and that we term as cost of equity shares. So there are basically three categories, three models or three techniques to calculate the cost of equity. We will study today CAPM, which is capital assets pricing model, then dividend discount model, and earning capitalization model. I'll make you understand what does these different model means, and then we will look into the formula and then the calculation part. CAPM stand for capital assets pricing model. This is in this model we are taking input from the market. Now what is the meaning of the market? Market means the stock market, the benchmark index is the market for that, or the benchmark for that particular business. So we will take that into consideration and we will see according to the market riskiness and according to the risk of this particular business, what is the risk premium and what will be the cost of equity for that particular asset, for that particular share. So this CAPM is definitely cost calculation of cost of equity only for those companies which are listed in the market. Listed means whose shares are available for buying and selling in any stock exchange. Then only we can compare this with the benchmark, calculate the risk premium and then calculate the cost of equity. If it is not in the market, not listed in the market, or if the shares are not even privately issued, then CAPM will not be definitely the tool to calculate the cost of equity. So in that case, firm will resort to calculating the cost of equity by other methods. In CAPM, the formula is RF plus beta earning from market minus RF. Now what does this RF mean here? K is the cost of equity, that we know. RF is the risk free return. Now what is risk free return? Risk free return in the economy. Risk free return are those return where the default risk is virtually zero, is nearly zero. So default risk nearly zero we can expect from the government bonds or maybe the government money market instruments like treasury bills or long term government bonds. So that is taken as the risk free return for a particular country. So in India, what we take as a risk free return is the yield or the return on 10 years government of India bond, because government is not actually supposed to default, or they cannot actually default in the due course. So we take it as a risk free return. Why we are taking here risk free return? Because this is the point from where you should start expectation from the company, because if a company cannot even generate more than risk free return, then what is the point of taking the risk? So this is the first point. Above that, the other part, RF plus, the other part here is nothing but it is a risk premium, and that depends upon the riskiness in the business. So how to calculate this risk premium? Look at the other part of the formula which says beta multiplied by earning of market minus RF. This is a calculation of risk premium. Let us first understand what is beta. Beta here is the sensitivity, it is the correlation between the companies or this particular shares return and the benchmark return and the market return. So this is correlation coefficient which we are using here as beta. That means if the market means the whole systematic risk, if you say it. So अगर पूरी इकोनॉमी पूरा मार्केट एक डायरेक्शन में मूव कर रहा है, वेदर इट इज इंक्रीजिंग और डिक्रीजिंग, सो बीइंग अ पार्ट ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर इकोनॉमी एंड मार्केट, द फर्म विल ऑल्सो बी इफेक्टेड, बट द इंटेंसिटी ऑफ दिस इफेक्ट विल बी different. So this beta calculates the relationship between the market movement and the share movement. So this is beta for this particular share, which you can calculate similarly as we do it in calculation of coefficient of correlation. Then earning of market. Earning of market means during that particular duration for which you are calculating this cost of equity, what was the return generated by the benchmark market. So for maybe large scale and mid scale company, mid cap company, we can take the return on Nifty or Sensex as a benchmark return. So this market depends upon what type of what category or sector your firm belongs to. Then this will be subtracted with the risk free return again, then you will get a calculation which is cost of equity. So K is equal to RF plus beta, RM minus RF. Let us quickly see a example here so that you can better understand this. The company A Limited is listed on NSE and has a beta 1.4. Beta is always be in times, right? So 1.4 times is the beta for this particular share of A Limited. The return on benchmark portfolio is 10%. Now this benchmark portfolio is what? Understand the language of this question. It is nothing but it is return generated on market. So 10% is RM, that is return on market. GOI 10 years treasury return is 4.5%. GOI, Government of India, 10-year treasury return is 4.5%. We can simply take it as a risk free return for this particular country. So we have all the inputs for this formula, RF plus beta, RM minus RF. We will put it in the formula and you will get a cost of equity number which is 12.2% in this particular example. This is how you need to get from the question in what form the risk free return given. So I am writing here the return Government of India 10-year treasury return. It may be simply given as risk free return or in any other form. You need to identify RF risk free return. You need to see in the question where the beta part is given and the risk on market portfolio is given. Put it in the formula, you will get the answer as cost of equity. This is technique number 1 where the shares are listed in the market. Another commonly used formula or commonly used technique for calculating cost of equity is dividend discount model. Dividend discount model is for companies which pay regular dividend. Now, what is dividend? Dividend is the profit the profit which belongs to shareholder. That means the bottom line, profit after tax, which is distributed to shareholder in the form of cash, is dividend for a company. So, if a company discounted dividend, discount means if you calculate the present value of the future stream of dividend, then you can get the cost of equity. This is similar, this where what we are doing in this model, we are using the time value of money. What we are doing, the dividend a company will keep on giving in future years also, and dividend will also grow at certain rate also, because the company is growing, company grows at certain growth rate, then dividend will also grow. So we are discounting the future dividends and taking into consideration this growth rate also, and if we discount it with certain rate, with certain discount rate, then we can get the market price of the share. So in this case what we are doing, market price we assume is the current market price of the share, and if we put it in this formula, we can get the that discount rate, and that discount rate becomes the cost of equity for that particular firm, right? So this is what is the explanation what we do in dividend discount model. If you look at the formula, so cost of equity is DI, which is dividend next year. D0 is the dividend in current year, D1 is the dividend in next year, the future year, coming year, end of this year, divided by PO. PO is the price now, that means the current market price of the company, plus growth rate, growth percentage. So a cost of equity can be calculated as DI over P0, where we are discounting the dividend next year with the current market price, and if we add growth rate to it, we can get the cost of equity. Look at the illustration. XYZ company is currently being traded at rupees 5 per share. 5 per share is the current market price of the share, and just announced a dividend of 50 paisa per share, which will be paid out next year. So this is D1, which is given to us. The next year they will pay a dividend of 50 paisa per share. Using historical information, and analysts estimate that the dividend growth rate of this company may be 2%. So 2% is the growth rate. If you put these inputs in the formula, so DI over P0 plus G, that means 0.50 over rupees 5 plus 2% will give you a discount rate or a cost of equity which is 12%. So need to understand what are the inputs and then put it in the formula, dividend discount model. Using this model you can get the cost of equity. Now coming on to the third technique, third tool of calculating cost of equity is the earning capitalization model. Here what we are doing, we are assuming that a company is earning certain return, and that earning will be a perpetual earning. That means company will go on getting this earning on a share, that means the EPS of that company for in indefinite period of time. So it is perpetuity. So if we use the formula of perpetuity, we can calculate the cost of equity. So what we are doing in this formula, we are discounting this perpetual cash flow, which is the earning per share, with a discount rate. So to calculate the present value, if you remember, the formula for perpetuity was cash flow divided by the discount rate will give you the present value of that particular cash flow. If you cross multiply this, we can calculate the discount rate also. In that case, we will be dividing the cash flow, which in this case will be in the form of earning per share, over the present value, which is the current market price of the share. We will get the discount rate, and the discount rate only is the cost of equity. So in this case, we are calling it as a cost of equity, but basically this is a formula for perpetual discount rate. And what is the principle, what is the fundamental of this particular technique? It says if the perpetual earning, if you can discount it with a certain rate, that rate becomes the cost of equity, so that it equates to the current market price. So the formula is very, very simple. It is EPS 1. EPS 1 means earning per share at the end of the year, not today. Today EPS will be EPS 0. So EPS 1 will be the EPS next year divided by current market price, which is P0. So remember here, don't take the market price next year. We will take the now current market price P0. You will get the cost of equity. So this particular earning capitalization model is generally used where the company year on year generally generate the same EPS and there is negligible growth. That means for mature companies, this technique can be used to calculate the cost of equity. Let us look at the formula. The market price of the share of a company is rupees 70. Matlab this is the current market price. The EPS at the end of the year is expected to be rupees 10. So we are given EPS 1 because at the end of the year they are giving us the EPS. Then find the optimal capitalization rate, which is nothing but the cost of equity. We have all the inputs, simply put to these inputs in the formula. So in this case, EPS 1, EPS at the end of the year is rupees 10 divided by the current market price, which is rupees 70. Solve it, you will get 14.28% as the cost of equity using the method of earning capitalization rate.